If you are raising a toddler, then you totally know that moment when you're on a play date or you're at the park and that adorable, sweet little child of yours is acting totally rude and making it totally awkward for you because they are having a hard time coping with sharing and taking turns. Okay, so let's be real. Toddlers are going to have a hard time with sharing and taking turns. But I am going to teach you how to teach them about sharing and taking turns so that they can pick up on it and it can become a little easier on them and it'll become a lot easier on you too. I've taken courses in behavioral psychology, developmental psychology, human development, early childhood education, and a smattering of other social science courses. And I read a lot and I am the mother of a 28-month-old adorable wild child. So I totally know what you're going through if you have a toddler. And I am very happy to share with you some things that have helped me help my adorable little baby girl become better at sharing and taking turns. Now, this didn't happen overnight. There have been lots of what we would call teachable moments where I have had the opportunity to take a daughter or a toddler who is having a little bit of a meltdown and try to introduce the concept and expand her understanding on sharing and taking turns. So, this is something that's not going to happen overnight. These are simple things that you can do, but I am in no way saying, oh my God, this is the simplest thing that you'll ever do. Because it's not. It's really not. But these are some simple things that you can do. Okay, step number one. The earlier you start step number one, the better. But if you didn't start this back when they were 6 months old and they're like however old now, that's fine. Just go ahead and start now. The more you start, the sooner you start and the more you do it, the better results you're going to get. Okay, so step number one is introducing, familiarizing the idea of taking turns and sharing and making it look cool, making it sound cool. So, anytime you're reading a book to your daughter or your son, or let's say you are interacting with another family member in the household, or maybe you're watching a little movie or a video or a little music video on super simple songs or Coco Melon or whatever, and there's an opportunity to talk about sharing or taking turns. It's a good idea to really use those words. Look, so and so is sharing. What a great job. That's so cool. Look, so and so are taking turns playing with the ball. There's two babies and there's one ball and they're going to throw it back and forth. Isn't that cool? Now everybody can have fun. You really don't have to use the word cool. If there's some other word you would normally use whatever verbiage comes naturally to you, whatever your baby is familiar with hearing, and whatever is going to sound authentic coming from you. Maybe you could say that's great. Maybe you'd say that's fantastic. I don't know. Say it however you want to say it. But really, it's not a bad idea to lay it on a little thick. It'll stick in their head a little bit more. And you're familiarizing them with this concept. You are introducing this concept before you even get to the awkward situation, huh? So, my daughter had these books about babies when she was really little. And yeah, we always talked about great job sharing, good job sharing. And we said those words, more than once a day. And so over time, she heard those words even before she knew what the words meant. So when it came to those scenarios, she was familiar with the idea of, oh, this is a cool thing. My mom will be proud of me if I do it. Now, if you don't start when they're 6 months old, that's fine too. Just, start. Not just, familiarizing them with the concept, but talking about the concept and praising the concept and making it sound cool. So that's step number one. Step number two. Step number two works best if you've already done step number one and really laid the groundwork. If you have the floor down, it's a lot easier to build off of that floor. So you really need to start by just making sure that they have a good mental concept of sharing and taking turns. Then when you are in the setting, let's say you're on the play date or you are at the park and they need to share and take turns. Make sure that you're using that verbiage that you already laid that groundwork for. So you're like, oh, look, this little kid wants to play on the slide too. how fun for them and fun for you. It can be fun for everybody if you share and take turns. You need to just really spell it out for them because, in their little world, in their little toddler world, they don't understand empathy. They don't understand the concept of other people's feelings and how that other kid would feel if they didn't get to play on the slide. They're just thinking about, oh, I want to play this with the slide and I'm used to having it to myself, and now there's another kid here and I need to share it. Another thing that's helpful is if you do start going on a lot of play dates. My daughter right now is an only child. And so we go on play dates and we bring along some toys and some things that we can share. And sometimes it's difficult for her because, those are her things and she doesn't really want to share them. But if we share them, then we're practicing those concepts, we're practicing those behaviors, we're practicing those abilities, and we're setting her up for success in the future. So sometimes it's a little awkward when we have a ball and we're trying to convince my daughter to throw the ball, share the ball. She'll have a little bit of a fit sometimes, but in the long run, she's learning. And as long as we keep encouraging her every time, make sure you share your toys, share with your friend. Your friend wants to play too. Let's all share and play together and we can have more fun. You just really need to make sure that you're enforcing the good behavior by just encouraging them verbally. And just be really clear because these are new concepts to them. These are very new little people. They need you to spell it out for them. Now, another thing that's important in these moments is to stay calm because it's not a big deal. I mean, if your daughter or your son is having a little bit of a hissy fit right now, that's normal. You need to just take a deep breath. Maybe have a sense of humor. Just, have a good time. But also tell them, no, no, no. Make sure that you're sharing. Make sure that you're taking turns. Little Stevie wants to go down the slide too. Make sure that you're, being considerate of Stevie. And that will help them learn about how they need to share and take turns. Okay, now step number 3. This is a really good one. This one comes from behavioral psychology directly, and it's called positive reinforcement. So if your child is in the situation at the park or on the play date or whatever, at the birthday party, and they actually do the thing that they need to do. That's amazing. Good job, little Joey. You did it. You're sharing. You're taking turns. You really want to make them feel good about it. Acknowledge that they are doing the thing that they should be doing and praise them for it. Make them feel proud of themselves for doing it. It'll give them an intrinsic sense of happiness later in life when they're being empathetic to other people. But also, it's nice because they deserve to hear when they're doing a good job. So often I'll be like, no, Daphne, don't pull that off the counter. No, Daphne, don't play with scissors. There's so many moments with toddlers where you have to tell them what they're needing to not do. So when they're doing the thing that they should be doing, it's a good idea to kind of really let them know that they're doing the right thing. Positive reinforcement. Really, I found when I'm tutoring elementary school students and when I'm working with little kids, it's like the number one thing that you can do to, if you see a wanted, desired behavior, and you do the positive reinforcement, the heavy praise, the really laying it on thick praise, then that's how you get them to repeat those desired behaviors. And you help them grow into the sort of little human you want them to grow into. So positive reinforcement, if you can do that, it's a really great thing. There are also lots of opportunities to do this, not in like the most public setting, but just at home. Like if they are hanging out with you and they hand you their toy, doesn't that just melt your heart when they're like, here, you play too? Or they have a little snack or a treat, like a little fruit snack, and they hand you a piece and they want to share it with you. Tell them they're doing a good job for sharing. Tell them they're doing an awesome job and they're just being a great, sweet little person, and how nice it is that they're sharing and being considerate of others. Those are teachable moments too. You don't have to be in the most awkward of public settings. Any chance you get to praise your child for doing the right thing and sharing and being considerate of others, that's a good opportunity to lay on that praise. My daughter comes up with some really interesting things. What was it the other day? Oh yeah, she likes to sit in the big poofy pink rocking chair in the bedroom. Whenever she's like running around the bedroom and I'm trying to get her into bed, she likes to crawl out of bed and she likes to crawl into the rocking chair. And she tries to sit in the rocking chair instead of getting into bed. But last night, her dad was helping me put her to bed, and he knew she was going to do that. So he went and sat in the rocking chair. And at first, Daphne was a little miffed. And then she was like, oh, we're taking turns. I wouldn't have seen it in that context, but since we've been introducing the idea so much, now that's how she sees it. And so when Dada was sitting in the rocking chair, she's like, oh, okay, we're taking turns. And then when Dada got up, we went to bed. And then this morning, she got in the rocking chair and she said, taking turns. So, the little things that you do, everything that you do, the kids pick up on. So just make sure you're really, being intentional with what you're saying to them, intentional with what you're encouraging them to do, and intentional with the reactions that they're getting from you when they do things, because it really does make a huge difference on how they view the world. All right, so those are tips 1, 2, and 3. 3 simple things that you can do to help your toddler learn how to share and take turns. I hope you found this video helpful. If you like this video, feel free to like my video. And if this was helpful and you want to help me out, hey, subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. All right, well, I wish you and your family all the best. Take care.